Hello and welcome as we break down the patch 5.0 preliminary patch notes. Some of this stuff is subject to change because this is preliminary, but I have not seen any of this yet. I have heard a few things from people on Discord. Kind of excited. Let's just dive into it. Of course, we know that Eden's Gate. That's a name for it now. It's not just called Eden. Is scheduled to release in 5.1. Dungeons of Ligaya, maybe? Ligaya? And Savage in 505, and the restoration of Holy Sevius Guard planned for 5.1. So let's see what we got here. We have some new images of the Crystarium. I think these are actually the same old images we already seen. This is new, though, I think. This shot of Yulmore. The actual, looks like a center area, almost like the centerpiece in Ul'dah. Inside the Chamber of Rule area. And then Lakeland, some more images for. This is new though, Colusia. That's a good looking. I like that gate, man. A gate or maybe a climbing over the mountain setup there, like an elevator. That looks really cool. Very Curthan again, like most of the Lakeland areas seem to be more Donish Curthan. Yulmore, the background there looks cool. Amarang, too bad. I can look at that so far. Ilmeg, of course, it's super cool like always. These would be the dwarfs' houses, I'm assuming. Raktika, we get some shots of Raktika, man. It looks good. I like it. Kind of looks like a PvP like shatter fort though. I'm liking it though. New city and field aetherites. Cool, cool. New main scenario quests, of course. NPCs. Definitely Grahatia. Most likely. People looking cool. New side stories with quest sync, which means that no matter what level you are, they will be to your level with XP and rewards to match, which is cool, and difficulty. Role quests, about the Warriors of Darkness. Do a little bit about that already, not too much. Completion of at least one set of role quests is required to complete the SQ. Then we have the names of the role quests. The Man with Too Many Scars for Paladin, Warrior, Dark Knight, Gunbreaker. No Greater Sport for Monk, Dragoon, Ninja, Samurai, Bard, Machinist, Dancer. Hollow Pursuits for Black Mage, Summoner, Red Mage. Traditions and Travails for White Mage, Scholar, Astrologian. And then an additional one that will be unlocked upon completing the entirety of the main scenario and all 4 role quests. All of which will be given to you in the Crystarium by Granson, Luevrik, Sareg, Gyot, and Glenard. Interesting. Okay. And then there's new job quests at level 80. Paladins with Gentlins. Warriors with Curious Gorge, of course. Dark Knight with Sidurg, of course. Gunbreakers with an as yet to be revealed NPC. Monks is with Eric. Okay, not Vidar Gelt. That's interesting. Dragoons with Alberic. Okay. Ninjas is with Obero, of course. Samurai is with Makoto. Bard is with Jahantel. Machinist is with Stefan Ivian. Dancer with as yet unnamed NPC. Black Mages with Lalai. Summoners with Ymitra. Red Mages with Arya. White Mages with Raya Osena. Scholars with Alkazolka. And Astrologians with Janet Card. So, not too surprising that Eric instead of Widargelt is kind of a, oh, okay. But not too surprising there, honestly. Does make sense. We knew that the job quests were going to be just for the final level at level 80, that you'd have an individual job quest for each job. But still, I'm interested in finding out those stories. I'm excited for it, you know? Crystarium deliveries have been added, a new type of custom delivery. Each disciple of the hand or land will be able to progress through one of the 5 series of quests associated with the different phases of the crystalline mean. Including deliveries for a facet of the crystalline mean will advance the story of that particular facet. Crystarium delivery quests rewards include crafter scripts and gatherer scripts. Source quest inscrutable tastes. I still need to get a disciple of the hand up, but I have a disciple of the lands. We'll be able to dive into this a little bit. Facet of forging for blacksmith, armor, goldsmith. Facet of crafting for carpenter, leatherworker, weaver. Facet of nourishing for alchemist, culinarian. Facet of gathering for miner, botanist, and facet of fishing, fisher. I still really need to level up Fisher the rest of the 51. Support new and returning players. Additions and adjustments have been made to rewards for certain main scenario, side story, and job quest. 2.0 and 4.0. Really? Huh. I wonder what that means. Maybe certain adjustments have been made to rewards, so maybe now you get better gear early on. I don't know. That's interesting. I want to find out. New leaves, of course, super useful. No combat leaves anymore. Those aren't coming back. That's what Deep Dungeon's for. But Hand and Land, definitely still want those leaves. Trickcraft, Fieldcraft, leave quest rewards will be significantly reduced when using class at level 70 or above to complete a leave with a level requirement below 70. Of course, so you can't just have a bunch preset and turn them all in as soon as expansion drops and get to level 80 right away. Bicolored gemstones upon completing fates in 5.0 areas. Currency can be exchanged with a gemstone trader, Sulad, for various goods. Sulad, maybe? Continue to complete fates in these areas. Gemstone traders will offer a wider selection of items. Well, that's cool. Gives you a reason to do fates again. 50. Shared fate under travel. Gilder skin treasure maps and Zonera skin treasure maps have been added. Rewards for Wyvern skin treasure maps and Goggin skin treasure maps have been adjusted. Elegant tomestones awarded for completion treasure maps have been changed from elegant tomestones of Mendacity to elegant tomestones of Genesis to elegant tomestones or Mendacity and Genesis to Poetics, of course. That way you can't just grind out a bunch of Goggin skins or Guzzle skins and get a bunch of good tomes that you don't really need. Like, Poetics are always going to be useful, right? Poetics can be turned in for stuff to turn in for your GCs. Poetics can be turned into gear for other jobs. Poetics can be turned into different stuff you can sell on the market board. Poetics can be turned into glamour. But all the other tomes go away eventually, whereas Poes do not. So it makes sense that they would want to reward you. Players will now be synced to level 70 when they're in Lost Canals of Uznair, Hidden Canals of Uznair, and Shifting Altars. Makes sense. Just what we expected. Additional items will now be accepted for supply and provisioning missions. Cool. Display of submersible parameters has been adjusted. Cool. I like this new layout for submarines. Blue Mage, Gunbreaker, and Dancer symbol options have been added to company crests. Nice. It's great. Furnishings from the 14 furnishing design contest have been added. That's cool. I like that a lot. The lilies and then the tree that we saw in the live letter. Those windows look super sick. Blue Mage, Gunbreaker, and Dancer gear has been added for mannequins. Cool. State tags have been added. Atelier, Bathhouse, Garden, Far Eastern, nifty. The preview function for furnishings, that's a really big thing. We talked about that during the live letter. I'm super excited for that. Being able to preview an item, whether you own it or not, means that you can see what you want to put in your room and then go buy just the items you want, which is really, really cool. Restriction on exterior fixtures based on housing awards have been removed. Players can now use exterior fixtures associated with any district up for their estate, which is super. The appearance of some exterior fixtures has been adjusted. So, help interface will now display when speaking with a resident caretaker about housing features. That's a good idea. Crafting facility furnishings can now be used by crafting classes up to level 70. Sweet. In accordance with the increased character level cap, level 80 Crystarium striking dummies have been added. Nice. New Orchestrion rolls, of course. New aquarium fishes. I like that. Fish is cool, man. Little one's not that either. New seed for flower pots has been added. Oh, ho, ho. I am down for flower pots. I love it's a joke in my FC how much I love growing things in this game. So I am down for that. Hydrangeas. Yep. Super in. I want to grow some hydrangeas. Manderville Gold Saucer. New prizes are available for purchase. New cards have been added for Triple Triad. New NPC opponents have been added, and players can now engage in Triple Triad matches in new areas. Dome and Mahjong, an option to reset rank and rating. An image of your character will now be displayed while playing. That's cool. Display of calls can now be canceled by right-clicking with your mouse. An icon will now be displayed to indicate when you enter Puritan. Auto-declare winning hand feature has been added. It's cool. It's going to be toggled on at the start of the hand, default to off once a new hand begins. Option to declare Ron or call appear simultaneously. Declaring Ron will cause the option to call to be skipped automatically. The event of a draw, Tempe and Noten, unable to call a winning hand, will be indicated for corresponding players. When a player discards a tile, certain probability of a short delay occurring even when no other players call. Okay. Rothgar and Vieira have been added, of course. Shadowbringer's entries have been added to the sightseeing log. Entries can now be completed regardless of class and job. Thank you. It's a pain to have to switch to a combat class to get a sightseeing log when I'm mining, so that's great. Awesome. Following addition, changes have been made to the challenge log. In your fate, 5 fates with the highest rating possible, 10 fates with the highest rating possible. That's interesting. Okay. And then receive the highest possible rating in fates of 5 different regions and successfully complete 10 fates. So now those have been removed. Old Fated to Wander and Embrace Your Fate. And now it's just in your fate. So just complete fates with the highest rating instead of having to go to different zones, which is really nice. That's cool. I like that a lot. It was kind of a pain to have to go, okay, did I already do a fate in Gridania? Let me go do a fate. Nope, I guess I already did a fate in Gridania. Let me go to Limsa. This change will fix that problem. Bronze certificates of commendation have been added for Wondrous Tales. Sweet. Those can be exchanged. Nice. Skywatcher NPCs. Yep. Be able to offer you weather forecasts in the first. Or for the source. Okay. Skywatcher NPCs in the source will be able to offer weather forecasts first upon meeting specific requirements. So they'll be able to let you know what the weather's like back home. Interesting. Emotes have been added. Hairstyles. I like that. Not bad. That's okay. I don't hate it. I think it looks pretty good. I don't know. I don't hate it. I think the bangs are too long. I think it looks pretty good in the back, but I think the bangs are level cap for all classes Disciple, War, and Magic has been raised to 80. Gunbreaker and Dancer have been added. Gunbreaker can be unlocked by completing the following quest. The makings of a Gunbreaker in New Gridania. So that's where we're going to get Gunbreakers in New Gridania at the God's Quiver Bow. And then Dancer will be in Limsa Lower Decks with the Eager Lominson, which means that as long as you have level 60 at least, and I guess have completed Stormblood, right? Do you need to have completed Stormblood? I assume you do, in which case then you would be able to select these jobs, which is super cool. We'll grab those Friday. New job actions have been added. Substantial revisions have been made to the battle system, as we already know. Umbral Ice now also reduces the MP cost of ice spells, which is pretty cool. It increases with each stat gained. That's really useful, actually. Ice will be basically free now, and it'll just be fire that costs for a Black Mage. Immunity gained for certain healing actions has been reduced. That'll be helpful. To improve player usability, the time frame within which players must execute actions to continue or complete combos has been extended. So you now have a longer period of time between when your combo would fall off to be able to get in some other OGCDs. That's cool. To improve player, I already read that. A fixed set of role actions has been assigned to all jobs. Players will learn role actions as they level and will no longer be required to select a subset of these actions used in combat. So they're just given to you as you level now. That's interesting. That allows them to balance them a little bit better. The following adjustments have been made to limit breaks. The rate at which the limit break gauge fills when using healing actions has been reduced. Limit break won't build as quickly while healing now. Limit break gauge will no longer fill when non-healer jobs use healing actions. That's unfortunate. Being able to boost limit gauge a little bit by having Red Mage backup heal was not bad. I don't think it was that big of a deal, but I understand why they wanted to change that. The rate at which the limit break gauge fills in new areas when taking damage from enemies under certain conditions has been reduced. Certain conditions. I wonder what those conditions are. The interrupt effect has been added. A gauge indicating when actions can be interrupted has been added. Players with this new effect can prevent the execution of enemy abilities when used before this bar can be filled. Following actions have this effect: interject and head graze. In accordance with this change, the silence effect has been removed. Charge actions have been implemented, as of course we know. These actions allow players to expend charges to execute them multiple times in quick succession. Recast time for these actions determine the rate at which charges are accumulated. Maximum number of charges for these actions can be confirmed via their action help text. Restarting a duty will fill all charged actions to maximum. That's great. I love that. So if you wipe, you get all your charges back. So good. There's the Paladin gap closer. Intervene. Rushes target, delivers an attack with a potency of 200. 30-second charge time. Instant cast. 2 charges max. Not bad at all. Certain weapon skills and spells will now have unique recast timers. While these actions are still affected by the global cooldown timer, they will not share a recast timer with other weapon skills. The timer will display over the icon of the weapon skill spells with unique recast timers. So like Air Anchor has a 36-second recast. 36.88. That's a weird. Sure, okay. Potency of 700. Increases battery gauge by 20. This action does not share a recast time with any other actions. Following adjustments have been made to pets. Pet actions have been removed. Actions executed by pets have been moved to the pet category of the actions tab. certain actions cannot be executed manually. Pets are now more auto than they were before, but they can no longer be targeted. Attacks performed by a pet will generate enmity for the player who summoned it. So you can still tank with Titan. You just can't tell Titan what to do. Pets will no longer be displayed in the party list. Pet HP will no longer be displayed when targeted. It makes sense. Makes sense. But now your pets can't die, so there is that. TP has been removed. MP bar displayed when riding Godwalker and Alexander. Cuff of the Father and Alexander, Cuff of the Father Savage has been replaced with an EP bar for energy. Maximum MP for all jobs has been fixed at 10,000. The cost of action has been adjusted accordingly. Effective piety has been changed from increasing maximum MP to increasing MP regeneration rate. It only affects healers. Parrying is now less effective in reducing damage. Blocking is now effective in reducing. Okay. In accordance with changes player attributes, the effects of certain monster and NPC attacks have been adjusted. Sure, silence doesn't exist now, so you gotta balance that. Party bonuses have been adjusted. Players will now receive a 1% increase to strength, vitality, dexterity, mind, and intelligence for each unique role in their party, up to a maximum of 5%. And then, of course, roles are as you would expect. Paladin, Warrior, Dark Knight, Gunbreaker are tanks. Monk, Dragoon, Ninja, and Samurai are melee. Bard, Machinist, and Dancer are ranged. Black Mage, Summoner, Red Mage, and Blue Mage. If Blue Mage is in your party, you still get that bonus. Interesting. Are caster DPS. I guess they would have to do that so that it would fit, since it's a part of that role designation. Still, pretty cool though. And then White Mage, Scholar, Astrologian are your healers. And you get that 1% increase to strength, vitality, dex, mind, intelligence for each unique role in the party. So if you have one of each, then you're going to get a maximum of 5% stat increase for all of your stats. Which, I mean, you have a high chance of having one of each in a raid, so that's really cool. 1% increase, or 100% increase in XP gain. And my armory bonus now applies to all jobs below level 70. From 70 onward, the armory bonus is a 50% increase in XP gain. Be really helpful for people that want to level jobs that are still at 60, like Gunbreaker or Dancer, to get up to 70, and then to get up to 80. In accordance with increase in level cap, bonuses for new worlds and preferred worlds are now clickable up to level 60. New dungeons have been added to look so much like a Hamlet, man. Ilmeg, it's cool. Rocktika Greatwood, whatever this is, man, I'm so down for that. EXP change bonus in Instance Dungeon has been removed. But you now gain more EXP in Instant. I mean, sure, that change works for me. Chaining was fun, but it wasn't something that you ever really did much of. You either had a tank that pulled everything and then your chain didn't matter, or you had a tank that pulled one pack at a time and your chain would fall off. So there were times where it worked great, and you had a tank that was really good at it and you were doing great. And there were times where it just didn't work at all. So I think as a flat, getting more XP is not a bad thing at all. Trust system. Parties must be composed of one tank, one healer, 2 DPS. You cannot use the trust when you're in a party with other players. Entering dungeons for the first time. Several allied NPCs will be standing near the dungeon. Speak with them, you have the option to add them to your party and enter the dungeon. Visiting dungeons, the trust system can be used to enter dungeons you've already completed. Select the dungeon you wish to enter and the NPCs to accompany. Item level sync has been applied to certain instant quest battles, of course. In accordance with the increase in level cap, players can now gain experience from level 70 dungeons and 4.x Alliance raid dungeons. Sweet, always. Trials have been added. And for that, Titania and Justice, was that the name? It was like that, or Innocence, something like that. Echo will now be applied to all 4.x trials. Strength of the Echo graded in Alphascape Savage has been increased to up to 20. Will not increase in event all party members are in cap. So 20 now. Following edition changes have been made to Tomestones. Tomestones of Goetia have been added. Players can only attain up to a maximum of 2,000 Tomestones. Moreover, players can only receive Tomestones of Goetia after reading level 80 with at least one class or job. There is no weekly limitation on Goetia. Secondary currency, Tomestones of Phantasmagoria, will be available approximately 4 weeks after the start of Shadowbringers. Tomestones of Medacity and Tomestones of Genesis are no longer available. However, players will retain all currently held Allegan Tomestones. Oriana and Revenant's Toll will now give the player the option to exchange Medacity and Genesis for Poetic. Moreover, items that could be purchased in exchange for Tomestones, Medacity, and Genesis can now be purchased using Tomestones of Poetic. And Tomestones of Creation have been removed again. Again, happens every patch cycle for expansions. Tomes go away, Poes stay, Poes get to buy everything the old Tomes used to buy. So, hey, Poes are great. And you can get Poes doing everything. So it's super easy to clear your other jobs. It's so easy. The game makes it so easy to gear other jobs. People just need to use their Poetic. They're probably already capped on them and don't even realize it. Players can now use the undersized party option to participate in duties introduced after the release of Stormblood. It cannot be used to undertake the Great Hunt or the Great Hunt Extreme, though. I still need to get my Rathalos mount. I need to do that. Raid Finder now only lists trials and duties introduced with patch 5.0. However, the Unending Coil of Bahamut Ultimate and the Weapons Refrain Ultimate can still be accessed via the Duty Finder has been adjusted as follows. Duty Roulette level 50, 60, and 70 have been combined into Duty Roulette 50, 60, 70 dungeons. Okay. I'm game with that. And then Expert, of course, will be the new 80 dungeons. Type and number of Allegan Tomestones received from each duty has been adjusted. Leveling is still there. Trials is still there. Main scenario is still there. Alliance raids is still there. Normal raids is still there. Mentor is still there. And Frontline is still there. And if people are wondering why it's 50, 60, 70 instead of just 60, 70, if it was 50, or if it was 60, 70, a lot of those 50 dungeons would just never get run. You would have leveling, and that would be it. That would let you run them. So people trying to run level 50 dungeons would have a hard time. By making it 50, 60, 70, you catch all of those. So you have people running 50, you have people running 60, people running 70. Whereas leveling will catch everything under 50. I think it works. Restriction on cracked crystals has been removed from Orbon. New enemies have been added. That thing looks sick. All of this looks sick. New elite marks. That's a red cap. That's cool. Players can now hunt. That's the mount too, isn't it? Players can now hunt regular and elite marks in the new areas, of course. Marks defeated in the new areas also yield sacks of nuts, which can be exchanged for various items. Players must complete the following quest before taking up the hunt in these areas. Nuts to You by Hume Lout in the Crystarium. You can exchange sacks of nuts with Shell in the Crystarium or Ilfroy in Yulmore. Notifications will now pop up for S rank elite marks, B ranks, and when a B rank's been defeated. Centurio Seals cap has been increased from 1,000 to 4,000. Marked bills for Realm Reborn and Heavensward areas can now be used to open maps for the respective areas. Thank you. That's a huge change for people hunting that are going, man, where's this mob again? You can just click on it now and get the map. It's great. Following changes have been made to Deep Dungeon. Items yielded by bronze trim sacks, iron trim sacks, silver trim sacks, gold trim sacks have been adjusted. Gunbreaker and Dancer Arms are now available from E. Una Kotor in South Shroud using your Palace of the Dead. Etherflow. Then Ether Pact, I guess. Then you have Heaven on High. Items yielded by silver haloed sacks, gold haloed sacks, platinum haloed sacks have been adjusted. Gunbreaker and Dancer Arms are now available from the Confederate Custodian in the Ruby Sea. Same way. Then there's the Lawns, an expansion of Stone Sky Sea to high level duties level 80. Nice. Following adjustments made to Logos actions. Wisdom of the Duelist. Now it's removed. The effect which reduces TP costs has been removed because TP doesn't exist. And Rejuvenate Large. The effect which restores TP has been replaced with an effect which restores HP, so it's even better now. PvP. Some traits in PvP have been removed, of course, for TP, things like that. PvP actions for all jobs have been adjusted. Additional actions are now adjusted based on current job's role. Following adjustments have been made to PvP. I wish we could get a full breakdown of these changes for PvP, because I actually really enjoy PvP in this game. TP's been removed, of course. The range of melee attacks has been increased from 3 to 5 yobs. That's cool. Global cooldown time of actions has been increased from 2.3 to 2.4 seconds. HP recovery rate outside of combat has been increased from 10% to 20% of maximum HP. MP recovery rate in combat has been increased from 200 to 50. MP recovery rate outside of combat has been increased from 400 to 500. Players will now be granted temporary immunity to knockback and draw-in effects after being affected by them. That's cool. Temporary CC immunity. And EXP yielded after a match will now be granted the job used at the time of registration rather than the current job at the end of the match. So you can't just switch it up and get that XP on other jobs, but theoretically, you could register as a job and then switch to a job you're more comfortable with to be able to level it. However, it does sound like these changes are going to make healers even better because they're going to have even faster regen on their MP. But maybe because the recovery rate outside of combat has been increased, the recovery rate inside of combat won't be quite as good for themselves. We'll see. Feast, of course, has ended. New items have been added. That gear set looks pretty cool. New recipes have been added. Makes sense due to the volume of items and recipes, they will not be listed in these patch notes. Certain items may now be sold decent, submitted to expert deliveries, and converted into materia. I'm always down for decent thing. Certain items can no longer be sold from 3.0. The sale price of certain items has been changed. Following item names have been changed. Fair vouchers are now fair vouchers 17s. Rising tokens are now 5th rising tokens, and pumpkin cookies are now ripe pumpkin. Okay? Must mean there's new versions of those events coming and they want to use those names again. Main attributes of accessories have been adjusted in accordance with the rebalancing of the battle system. Makes sense. Main attribute of Aetheryte Earring when equipped by a tank has been changed from Vitality to Strength, of course. Haste attribute on certain equipment is now displayed with a plus sign rather than a minus sign. That makes sense. New items available in exchange for achievement certificates have been added. Gunbreaker and Dancer have been added as required jobs for certain gear, of course. Following adjustments have been made to materia melding. Materia melding fails. It is now possible to immediately reattempt the meld so long as more of the same materia is present in the melder's inventory. Following attributes can no longer be improved via materia, strength, bit, dex, int, mind. After watching it first time, it's now possible to skip the cutscene when requesting materia transmutation from Unimix. Thank you. Thank you. The following types of materia are no longer able to be retained, and their attribute enhancing capabilities have been removed. They can still be transmuted, though. So if you have any of these materia, strength materia, vitality materia, dexterity materia, intelligence materia, mind materia, you should transmute them because they're worthless now. The reason being that you can no longer use materia to upgrade these stats. You can now only use materia to upgrade the other stats like direct hit, piety, crit, things like that, in an attempt to balance the jobs a little bit more. So you should transmute them to get something out of them instead of just discarding them. The level cap for desynthesis have been increased. Yes. Individual class. I'm sorry. I love desynthesis. Individual class skill cap has gone up to 450 from 380, and the cumulative skill cap has gone up to 1370 from 1160. Level cap for Disciple of the Hand and Lens has been increased to 80, of course. Elemental aspects have been removed from synthesis recipes, which is great. New crafter actions have been added. Brand of the elements, name of the elements, preparatory touch, rapid synthesis 3, reuse, delicate synthesis, intensive synthesis, trained eye, and trained instinct. Following actions are now available to all crafters class. Biragot's blessings and Steady Hand 2 can no longer be set as additional actions. Following crafter actions have been removed. Brand of wind, brand of fire, brand of ice, brand of earth, brand of lightning, brand of water. Biragot's brow, name of wind, name of fire, name of ice, name of earth, name of lightning, name of water. Because, of course, they're getting rid of the elemental aspect. Following conditions have been added to crafter actions. The bonus control can be stacked with innovation. Cannot exceed 3,000. Okay. With inner quiet. Can only be used up to 5 times per synthesis is Heart of the Carmen. Okay. And it seems like it's the same for all the rest of these with their inner quiets and their hearts. Armor is piece by piece. Increased to progress cannot exceed 1,000. Makes sense. Balanced a little bit more. Effective for up to 25 steps with Maker's Mark. Yeah, I mean, all that looks good. Increase cannot exceed 1,000. Following additions and adjustments have been made to the crafting log. Maximum percentage to which initial quality can be raised by using HQ materials is now displayed. Thank you. Recipes for which the initial quality limit may be greater or less than 50% have been added as of patch 5.0. Value of both progress, quality increase at 100% efficiency are now displayed on recipes for your currently equipped crafting class. Class quest category has been changed to read story. Sure, why not? Following additions and adjustments have been made to the synthesis window. I love this, by the way. Saw this in the live letter. Brand new UI. Looks really, really good. I like it a lot. Calculations for increased progress and quality, assuming a base 100% efficiency, have been adjusted. Effectiveness of actions affecting progress and quality have been slightly reduced. Recipes added prior to Shadowbreak. But it should be a little bit more accurate now. Difficulty of certain recipes found in Master Recipes 5 and 6 have been reduced. New actions have been added for Disciple of the Land. Miner now has Stickler, the Giving Land, Pick Clean, and Mind of the Mountaineer. Botanist gets Stickler, the Giving Land, Pick Clean, and Mind of the Pioneer. Fisher gets Surface Slap, Identical Gig, and Identical Cast. Traits for Miner Botanist: Enhanced Stealth, Enhanced Stealth, Enhanced Stealth, and Enhanced GP Regeneration. Seems like we didn't get much more of this. I was hoping we'd have 2 of these and only 2 of these, but it's fine. Fisher, enhanced stealth, gull eye, gull eye, enhanced GP regeneration 2. New points, of course, have been added. New fishing holes have been added. S-rank records can now be obtained from certain fishing spots listed in the fishing log. Following additions and adjustments have been made to spearfishing. New teeming waters have been added. AAA records can now be obtained with all gig heads listed in the fishing log. New tomes of regional folklore have been added. New items that can be used for ethereal reduction have been added. The amount of items received from ethereal reduction has been adjusted. Freshwater boilies and saltwater boilies, bait effective on a wide variety of fish in 2.0 areas, have been added. 2 thumbs up. That's amazing. Just be able to have one set of bait for 2.0 areas. Thank you. Let's see. The following additions and adjustments have been made to the gathering log. Entries relating to the regional folklore are now categorized by region. Gathering location and time information will now be displayed for any items successfully gathered from undiscovered gathering points. Gathering time information will now be displayed for any items successfully gathered from ephemeral gathering points. Timer indicating when the item will next be available for gathering can now be created for any item successfully gathered from an undiscovered, hidden, or ephemeral gathering. You can even set a timer for it, so that's cool. Players above level 70 will now receive a maximum of 10,000 XP when trading collectibles to level 70 or lower. Yeah, it makes sense. The amount of XP received from delivering collectibles to level 60 to 70 gatherers has been increased, though. That's cool. Crafters and gatherer scripts. White scripts and white script currencies have been added. They can begin exchanging at Splinter's exchanges at level 80. Have a maximum of 2,000 given time. Red scripts will no longer be available, of course. If you have any currently held, they will not be lost, but they can no longer be exchanged for items. You can now get them with yellow or blue scripts. Or yellow scripts. Blue scripts have also been removed, and the amount of yellow scripts required in exchange for items has been adjusted. The amount of crafters and gatherers scripts received from delivering collectibles has been adjusted. Level 70 arms, gear, and accessories have been added to the inventory of vendors in Gane, which is great. New items have been added to the inventory of salvagers. New mounts have been added. I want that Triceratops, and I want that worm. That little Drake. I want him. I want him so bad. I want that mount right now. Okay, that's top priority. Both these mounts look cool. Following mounts are now able to fly. I mean, they might as well have said everything, right? Because they're making it where everything can fly, just not right away. The Coral, the Cavalry Elps, the War Lion, the War Bear, and the War Panther. New Chocobo barding has been added. That barding looks cool. That looks okay. I don't hate it, but that barding looks cool. Also, my Elps can finally fly. Thank you. Minions have been added. Those look cool. Market board's been added to the Crystarium. That's a cool looking market board, too. The following additions and adjustments have been made to retainers. Retainers can now be registered at the Crystarium market. Hrothgar and Viera can now be selected as retainer races during customization. Hairstyle and face paint retainers rewards can now be applied to retainers during customization. Thank you. Retainer level caps have been raised to 80. Retainers can now be assigned to Gunbreaker and Dancer jobs. Sweet. New objectives have been added to Delivery Mission and Exploration Ventures. Exploration Ventures are now displayed with the highest level first. The retainer interface has been redesigned. Selections can now be reordered. I think it looks really good. It lets you know if they have any money on them as well. You no longer have to go in and check to see if they sold anything. Retainer animations upon being summoned or dismissed have been adjusted to increase the responsiveness of the interface. Color of retainer nameplates has been changed to that of NPC. New achievements and titles have been added. Following additions and adjustments have been made to achievements. Certain categories have been adjusted. Achievements can now be selected via subcommand and recording to the watch list for easy access. Achievements can now be filtered by completion status or type of reward. Clicking on an achievement in the relevant category will no longer automatically open its primary category. That's cool. That's all good stuff. Recommendations window. Hunt marks are now displayed in recommendations. Oh. Sightseeing clues are now displayed in recommendations. Okay. Hunting log entries for both class and Grand Company now appear in the same category. Window can now be locked. Okay. Following additions of Party Finder. Links to the Party Finder listings can now be posted in the chat log. Okay, cool. Cross-world party invitations to players in other worlds can now be issued via the chat log as well. Following additions and adjustments have been made to the party list. Party list now indicates HP increases granted by barriers. It now indicates when maximum HP has been reduced. Cool. Good stuff. Useful stuff. Battle animations for allied NPCs and quest battles will now always appear. Sure. Glamours can be stored in the glamour dress will be increased from 200 to 400. Yes, thank you. The amount of glamour plates available is increased from 10 to 15. Thank you. Following changes have been made to group pose. Trust system NPCs will now be included in group pose at the time of the duty completion. Trust and squadron NPCs will now repeat their most recently executed action upon duty completion. Cool. Portable duties have been changed. 2 Shadowbringer trials are now added to the duty order. Target's HP can now be displayed in increments of 0.1. It has less than 1% remaining, of course. UI's color scheme can now be changed to dark or light mode. I would never change off of dark mode unless they had a classic mode, but I'm fine with dark mode. Light mode looks fine though. Accordance with increased level cap, conditions that must be met to set your status as new adventurer has been adjusted as followed. Now you are still a new adventurer if you played less than 168 hours, or if you have not completed the main scenario quest or requisite heroes. Coinciding with the increase in level cap, the requirements for new mentors have been adjusted as followed. Must have completed the level 80 tank role quest. Must have completed the level 80 healer role quest. Must have completed at least one of the level 80 DPS role quests. Must have completed at least 1,000 dungeons and trials. Must have received at least 300 commendations. Also, Disciple of Hand and Land can now be mentors. Must have reached level 80 with at least 1 Disciple of Land. Must have reached level 80 with at least 1 Disciple of the Hand. Must have synthesized at least 100 collectibles. Must have gathered at least 300 collectibles. Players who obtain certification prior to release 5.0 but do not meet the new requirements will retain their current status for the duration of 5.0. However, as of patch 5.1, to ensure that all mentors are held to the same standard, changes will be implemented to encourage mentors who qualified under the old system to obtain recertification. Following additions and adjustments have been made to cross-world link shells. The number of cross-world link shells that a single character can create or join has been increased from 1 to 8. Thank you. Member lists can now be configured to show online members at the top. Options to sort the list by number or alphabetically have been added. DualShock 4 and other gamepads will have a vibrate function. Will now vibrate when Duty Finder matching has completed. That's a cool little quality of life thing that HP was asked for years ago. Glad it finally made it in. Proves they listen. Following additions and adjustments are made to cutscene. Text relating to formatting or disbanding a party will no longer appear if a cutscene is in progress. The manner in which dialogue selections are displayed has been changed. So now they'll be at the bottom of the screen in options instead of popping in the... Okay. Position of the identifying letter next to the focus target's name has been changed. Cool. Okay. Following additions and adjustments have been made to the map. Now separate toggle icons turn map text and map icons on and off. Certain quest objective icons have been changed to indicate elevation. Cool. Job gauge details have been revised. There's a lot of stuff here. The order in which character names are displayed has been adjusted in accordance with changes made to pets. The battle and other tabs of the currency window have been revised. Unlimited setting under frame rate limit in the display setting sections of system configuration has been replaced with the maximum 90 FPS. Okay, an FPS cap. I didn't expect that. That's interesting. Additions have been made to the system configuration interface. Settings have been removed from the character configuration interface. Own tab, pets, HP bar settings, other tab, party members, HP bar settings. Okay. Interesting. Additions have been made to the character configuration interface. Now, cross-world link shells. Target tab to disable targeting of pets and minions when in battle. Keybind menu will now have fake completion and trust shortcuts for tabs, and then chat tabs for temporarily switch chat mode to next cross-world link shell and back, and then just specific numbers. Cross-world link shell 1, cross-world link shell 2, all the way through. That's cool. Add PvP trait and Golf Barrel have both been removed. Pet actions can no longer be used with it. Aliases have been adjusted. HPP, MPP, interesting. HP will no longer be displayed if a pet is designated, of course. Following aliases have been removed. Pet HP, of course. Additions have been made to the Auto Translation Dictionary. Additions have been made to the PlayStation 4 Autocomplete Dictionary. New music has been added. Nice. In order to reduce server congestion upon the release of patch 5.0, following measures will be implemented temporarily, of course. Players who are inactive for 30 minutes will be logged out automatically, of course. New areas will be split in multiple entities, just like they did for Stormblood. Following additions and adjustments have been made to character creation. The default appearance of characters is displayed on the race and clan selection screens have been adjusted. Hairstyle options can now be limited to favorites only. Hairstyle and face paint options obtained as rewards are now marked accordingly at the execution. Characters on accounts with active subscriptions will be prioritized in login queues. Oh, okay. Interesting. So if you're using the free trial, you will not have prioritization. Interesting. Support for the Mac 64-bit version has begun, while support for the Mac 32-bit version has ended. Following additions and adjustments have been made along with the release of the Mac 64-bit version. Auto-translate, previously sent messages, and configuration. Square Enix account passwords can now be saved on the PlayStation 4 launcher. That will save a lot of people trouble. Title screen logo and opening movie have been changed to those of Shadowbringers. Gunbreaker and Dancer have been added to the solar rankings for Palace of the Dead. It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of good stuff. Some, I'm not quite sure how I feel about it stuff that we'll see, like capping the frames, but I'm very excited for Shadowbringers. This is a really good patch update. And obviously, some of this stuff is subject to change. It's preliminary still, but it looks good. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And until next time, I've been Trey. This has been the Full Spectrum. Remember to always enjoy the full spectrum. Shadowbringers has to offer.